Today I'll be hiking Hurd State Park, and this is part one of a three-part video. In part one of this video, I'm going to start at the Hurd State Park and then move to the George Dudley Seymour section of the state park, way over here. I'll explore this little mountaintop, come back down. In part two of the video, I'm going to explore the perimeter of Hurd State Park, way around the outside, and then I'll come back to the car. In part three, I'm going to move my car over and explore some of the interior trails of Hurd State Park. I'll zigzag around and cover as much ground as possible so you get to see lots of different things. And we're off with a little bit of a steep hill out of the parking lot. And while you think I might be alone today, I'm not. Barsoom is behind me, marking all his territory. That's always the beginning of any hike. Waiting for her to finish up and get in front. This is actually a pretty big park, large trail system. Be sure you have your All Trails app so you can find a good path. And actually right over here to the right is where we're going to finish the loop later. But we're going to go to the left. Oh, and look whose tank is empty and is walking in front now. Way to lighten your backpack load. And speaking of backpack loads, as I try not to trip on roots, after we visit this next place up ahead, which is so much fun, I'm going to talk to you about my Appalachian Trail through hike prep and how that training is going and what I've learned from hiking the AT on my treadmill. There's some surprises there, but here, check this out first. It's a weekday, so there appears to be nobody here, which is good. A lot of times people will come here with their dogs to play with them, and they don't always leash them, so just be prepared if you're coming here on a weekend. But it's a beautiful spot if you wanted to have a little picnic and, I don't know, play with your off-leash dog. Oh, this is a place to go. Here, I'll take you inside. Fireplaces, picnic tables. I think the camp uses this. Some kind of youth camp here. And then right back out again. Look at all the little flowers, bluets. They've all sprung with spring. They're one of my favorite flowers. They're one of my favorite things. All right, so you can also park here. And I'm actually going to move the car over here later when I go to do another lap to explore the interior trails here. But for now, let's continue down this road. And up ahead over there is another picnic table, barbecue. You'll see a bunch of these little areas all around the park. It's really nice. We want to head to the George Dudley Seymour Park area, so we're veering left over here. I'll come back on another lap and explore off to the right in those central trails. Later. Okay, we just saw this huge herd of deer go through, but I was not quick enough with the camera. Our first plank walk. It's a little mucky. Look at, he don't care. And now here's the park road, which connects right down to the parking lot where I'm parked. And we're heading over this way, and there should be a little foresty trail, if I remember, right over here. Okay, apparently I said that way too soon. Right over here. There it is. This is basically just a little side trail so you don't have to walk on the park road. It's going to connect right up ahead to the next parking lot. Check that out. Okay, see? At the road. Later on, after we finish our George Dudley Seymour loop, we're going to come right back down this road again. Only we're going to cross up there and go up that hill there. But for now, here we go. Okay, so now let me talk to you about my simulated Appalachian Trail hike on my Incline treadmill, which at first I thought would be easier than a real trail because I don't have to look at my feet like I do here. Not going to trip, not going to fall, and I'm not out in bad weather. But in reality, what I've learned is a treadmill is a really hard surface to be walking on, no matter how spring-loaded it is. It is actually even harder than walking on this dirt road I'm on now. This rocky dirt road is softer than a treadmill. So 20 miles of that a day. And over the winter, I didn't realize, I forgot how soft trails were until I got back out here. And I thought, I feel like I'm walking on a mattress all the time. A mattress full of flowers. The next thing, which seems pretty obvious, but you really don't think about, is a treadmill is flat, and real ground is not flat, so it doesn't exhaust your feet the same way. Like, even look at this, what I have to walk on, this crumbled up shale rock or whatever it is. Oh, look at that. Boy, that's really tall. Holy cow. I do get distracted easily. But it is so much easier to walk on even a rocky surface than a flat one for 20 miles all day long. Check out this water. I'm getting distracted again. Again, look what I'm walking on. Easier than a treadmill. All right, we just found a little trail here off to the right, which I haven't been down before, so we're going to explore it. Because exploring is fun. There's no exploring when you're on a treadmill. You're just going one direction. What is that in the water? Oh, it's a boulder. Cool. This is the Connecticut River. All right, let's turn around and go back, because it's kind of murky looking. And let's go back to our rocky road here, which is still a break on the feet compared to the treadmill. You won't believe me, but I'm telling you, do it. You'll know what I'm talking about. Just that variation under your foot. It's a good thing. Look at these cliffs over here. So cool. I think I hear frogs. You are not getting a cushy walk like this on a treadmill. No way. I could do this in my sleep. I knew I could hear frogs earlier. Listen. Hear them? We've arrived at a crossroads, and I know we're supposed to go left here. Straight is just kind of marshy. But I want to explore this trail to the right and head back to the river again, see if there's a nice shoreline beach. We're almost there. Let's see if there's a nice beach waiting for us, and no, there is not. Moving away from that wind, heading back. Just thought I'd give you a good scan from left to right so you can see the surroundings before we walk through this puddle. And we're back at the crossroad winds, heading straight, which was originally to the left. Holy moly, look at this puddle. Okay, I had to shut the camera off because it got knee deep out there, but how much fun was that? That was amazing. I just passed by a log of turtles and they all jumped in, so let me see if I can find another one to film for you. One last view of the swamp before we say goodbye to it. So the next thing that makes a treadmill more difficult is not being able to hike with trekking poles. For those of you who might not use them, trekking poles help disperse the weight of your body and, more importantly, of your backpack, so that weight is not all falling on just two legs, but they're going into the ground through the poles. When I'm on a treadmill, I have handrails, but I only lightly hold them for balance. I don't put any weight into them. Check out this little rain shelter under the cliffs. But I am wearing my backpack on the treadmill, so without those trekker poles to help to disperse that weight, those 20 miles are much harder on the body than they are when you're on a regular trail. And that was a real eye-opener to discover how much more difficult it is to carry a backpack on a treadmill than a real trail. Trekking poles should not be taken for granted, nor should water. Okay, this road just goes to a parking lot, so we want to turn left here onto this trail, and we're going to head back in the direction we originally started from. Tree bridge. Not entirely graceful. I'm starting to see little purple butterflies. For me, they're my first sign of spring. Not robins, purple butterflies. But they're very fluttery and hard to catch on camera. I'm looking. Oh, there you go. And now we're back at the yellow gate, or one of the yellow gates. So now I want to check out this mountain loop and see what it's all about. And I say mountain loop in finger quotes, big hill. Check out this bridge. Ooh, be careful, be careful. Going back to treadmill training, going up an incline on a treadmill is nothing like this. This is wonderful. You have little divots and steps. It's just an easy climb. Even the bigger climbs are easy climbs. A treadmill, it is completely unnatural to be in a perfect angle going up a mountain. Doing any kind of uphill or downhill grade on a treadmill is so much harder on the body physically than it is being on real ground. That angled slope, it's just awkward. And it's harder on the ankles. When you're doing real world hiking, you should not feel pain in your knees or ankles. Your hips take the weight. On a treadmill with a backpack, for some reason, those angles that it puts your foot, ankle pain. So yep, climbing up hills and mountains, way easier to do in real life on a natural scale than on a mechanical machine. And the final way that treadmills are more difficult, well, in reality, the earth ain't moving under your feet. The belt is. You might not think about that, but just taking breaks, just adjusting your pace continually as you walk, adjusting as you go, you cannot do that. On the treadmill, you keep pace. If you want to make a change, you must hit a button a second ahead of time before you make that change. It just occurred to me that I've forgotten one of the most important reasons why it's more difficult to walk on a treadmill. And that reason is you're walking on a treadmill for like 8 hours. You could be outside on a trail in nature and air and wind and rain. It's all better, more enjoyable, more interesting, more fun than a treadmill. Get outside. And that being said, I am really loving the crest of this little mountain right here. With all this grass, and these lookouts all the way around. Pretty soon you won't be able to see this because the trees and the leaves will all come in. But for now, enjoying every moment. And now it's time to go back down, which is so much easier. I began today's journey joking about Barsoom lightening his backpack load, and then I got into a long story about the challenges of hiking on a treadmill. And if you're wondering, why did I go from backpack loads to treadmills? Well, I've learned the lesson that I need to lighten my backpack load when hiking on the treadmill. So at times I hike with a 15-pound pack, other times a 22-pound pack, and for a few hours a 24-pound pack, but not too long, because hiking on a treadmill is just not the same as a real trail. It's easier to carry a 30-pound pack on a real trail than a 22-pound pack on a treadmill. That's what I've learned. Ta-da! There's the road we came in on, or walked off of, because there's a yellow gate. See it? Let's go over there. All right, we made it down the hill, and we're walking over to the road. And we'll be taking a right, going out the way we came in. See, we came in right off this trail originally, and I told you we would eventually come back here and go up this big climb to the left. And we will in part 2 of this video.